Male composure. Composure, the definition of which is the state or feeling of being in control of oneself. It's something that's very underrated, but it's essentially a man's superpower. It's the essence behind a lot of things. Idea of being unmoved, unbothered, no matter what the situation is. Everyone around you could be running around like chickens with their heads cut off, but you as a man, you have to remain composed. Um, just even that word composed, it makes you think of music. What is a well composed piece of music? It's beautiful. It's elegant. It's effective. It's what makes you appear superhuman. It's essentially your cape. It's what denotes to other people that you are above being just a male, you are a man. It's your cape, but we're not saving no thoughties out here, so don't get that confused. It's what attracts people. It's what attracts women. It's that that thing about a guy that a girl can't really put her finger on, but they're like, oh, it's just something about him. It's just something about him. He's just, I don't know, just the way you could be an ugly ass dude, bro. Ugly ass broke dude, but if you have a certain amount of composure about yourself, it's like you're always the man with the plan. You always know where you're going, even though you might really not, and you're figuring it out as you go along. Composure is what makes people want to join your team, especially women, son. Um, it's the quality of a leader. It's it's the same. It's the same. It's the same quality that a child might admire in their father, or a woman in her husband, or even a soldier in his commanding officer. It's the quality of leaders. It just seems like the society is getting real emotional, especially the men. I don't really fault the women. Women are just being women, right? Uh, but the men, that's what bothers me. You have guys complaining about shit. Like there's so like as men we know, or at least should know, the reality that there's nothing that complaining does. Complaining is an admission of defeat. It's a form of submission, really, because even when you think of who are you complaining to and why are you complaining to them, is this person going to magically solve your problems for you? Problems that by complaining to this person you are admitting that you cannot solve yourself. There's a certain sovereignty that comes from handling problems internally. This is also another thing. I also believe that men should be their own therapist. But I mean, there are some exceptions to that. I feel like there should be some exceptions to that, just because there are some people that have legit mental issues, or people that have gone through legitimate life experiences where you might actually benefit from a actual legitimate therapist. I'll get it into my thoughts on therapy in another video, but I do feel like men should be wholly responsible for their mental state. And it's up to you to drag yourself out of a ditch mentally if that's what you have to do. Composure is also taking complete ownership of the situation and knowing that it's completely in your power to drag yourself out of it because there's no backup coming. There's no one coming to help you. Even the people in your life who really do love you, as much as they want to do something for you, all they can do is cheer you on. Because your trials and your battles are so specific to you that no one else meets those requirements. And I mean, it's a it's a pursuit that I don't see a lot of people, a lot of men too interested in cultivating. I think that's because it's a very nuanced pursuit. To achieve any kind of competence in life, there are certain fires that you have to walk through, whether it's being an athlete, being a doctor, a tradesman, an academic, and these are all things that people, once you go through these fires, they can see just by looking at you or just by observing you for a small amount of time. Oh, this dude's jacked. He can backflip, or this guy's smart, he can cite all these things and he knows all these facts and he holds great conversation. Or a doctor who's financially successful, stable. These are all things that are very quantifiable as human beings. And these are all pursuits that everyone pursues. Everyone wants to be, no one wants to be dumb. No one wants to be broke. No one wants to be weak. These are all pursuits that men are enticed by society to chase, and they should, because it all benefits you. However, composure is something that's, like I said earlier, is very nuanced, and it's not really seen as a requirement among men to society in general, but those that do have it are praised for it. And I think more men should seek to be composed, no matter what the situation. Just like you can tell that someone is strong, someone is financially stable, someone is intelligent, just like you can tell all these things, there is something about a well-composed man that when he walks into a room, he commands respect. He commands respect and reverence from his peers and even from his enemies. And that's because your enemy can acknowledge you as a formidable opponent. Someone that they feel they have to be in tip-top shape to even compete with. And this goes as well for women. When women see a man, regardless of his outer shell, regardless of his financial status, if they see a situation where every man in that room is going crazy and there's one well-composed individual her attention will instantly be directed to him. It's power. It's a form of power. Composure. You're keeping your power to you, and you are essentially taking power from anyone that's not protecting theirs. There's a certain awe that's inspired in the human being, especially the human female, when she encounters a well composed man. The cultivation of composure is an internal fire. It's a fire that's totally voluntary. Society won't necessarily ostracize you for not being composed, the way they would if you were broke, weak, or dumb. Those that do have it are praised over people that are well off, or have some other kind of status. And I feel like it's something that's highly overlooked. It's when we think of strong men, we think of a well composed individual. Think of like James Bond, people like James Bond, characters like that. Like this dude, was hitting the joint 1 minute, next minute he was about to get dipped in a whole lava pool. Like it's like, but he was still James Bond throughout both of those highs and lows. Be of your own command. Control your mind and the world will follow. Peace.